Hello and welcome to Algebra. Today we're going to learn some stuff that what the SWL is going to look like this year, right? So this is on test nav, right? And this is what it looks like when you're going to take the SOL. It's going to look something like this. You got some tools up here. You got like an answer eliminator. You have up here. You can cross answers off or recheck them, right? You got a pointer. And the one we're going to use a lot here is Desmos. Something else you might not know is over here. If you click up here, you can change like the background color. It's kind of cool. I kind of like that blue one, right? All right, cool. But the main thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to do some things on Desmos that you can see on the test, right? So when you click the Desmos button, it looks kind of like this. It's like a pop-out calculator. You can drag it around, you can move it around. You can also make it bigger. If you see this little thing here, you drag on it, you can make it bigger if you want. All right? But this question right here is a perfect example of what we can do on Desmos calculator, right? And this is exactly what you're going to get on the SOL. So you can see that you can do this on the SOL. All right, so the first one says 5, and then it says cube root, right? So we got a functions, and then miscellaneous, and then cube root. All right, then it says a, and then it says minus c square root b plus 9. All right, so then what I can do is I can hit sliders for all of these, and then change my sliders to whatever it says. So it says a equals 8, so I'm going to drag a over to 8. All right. B equals 16. B is down here. See, it says B. It only goes up to tens, but you can click next to this and type in 16. So B is 16, and C is -4. So I can type next to C and type in -4. And if I go back into where I type my equation or my expression, there's my answer. So that would be equals 30. So Desmos is awesome at order of operations, right? You literally just type in this expression and just tell it what A, B, and C equals, right? If they use the letter X or Y, it will not work. You have to change those letters. You can change it to like an A or B, right? Or you can make a capital X or a capital Y. But if you use a lowercase x and a lowercase y, what it's going to do, like if I do 2x plus 4y equals 10, something like that. If I do that, right, it's going to try and graph it because they use x and y on the x and y axis, right? So if it uses x or y, you have to change the letters. But other than that, it does order of operations and substitution very, 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 very well. All right, here's something else we can do on our Desmos calculator. Whenever it says solutions or zeros or x-intercepts, those are all answers to a quadratics problem, right? So solutions means x-intercepts or zeros. Means I can use Desmos. I can clear out everything I have in here. That was my previous question. And I can type in my equation, just like how it looks, right? So I see I have 2x squared plus 5x plus 3 equals 0. Right? And if I zoom in, where does it cross my x-axis? Well, it crosses at -1, and it crosses at -1.5. So my solutions are the same thing as my x-intercepts. So my x-intercepts, let's see here, -1 and -1.5 would have to be C, right? So anytime you see solutions, zeros, x-intercepts, you can type in the equation into Desmos and you see where it crosses our x-axis. What's our x-intercepts? Okay, so this next question, this is an inequality. And we can solve inequalities. We did this, don't call me after midnight, right? We did that, and then when we have to flip the sign when we divide by a negative, remember that? Desmos can solve these for you too as well. All you do is you type it in just like how it looks, 6x minus 11 minus 13x, and then it says less than 7 minus 5x. All right, okay, so I got that. I might need to zoom out here so I can figure out, there we go. All right, and wherever it crosses the x-axis, that is my answer. All right, so my x is going to be -9 here, right? So -9. Where it's shaded tells me my symbol. All right, so my answer is x, and then I know it's going to be -9, but I got to put my symbol here. So I can see that if I look at my x, it's shaded to the right. Those are my bigger numbers. So to the right is my bigger numbers. That means my x is greater than, and wherever it crosses the x, and it crosses the x at -9. So x is greater than -9. If it was shading the other way, it was shading to the left, like shading over here, then let's flip the sign, you'll see. If it was shading over there, then this would be less than. So shading to the left is less than, shading to the right is greater than. Okay? Other thing to remember is if it's a dotted line, like this, the dashed dotted line, there's no line underneath the inequality symbol. If it's a solid line, that means there is a line underneath the symbol, and that would be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. All right, here's one that's a pretty common question we see on the SOL. It says, what is the solution, what number would be the solution set for these two inequalities, a system of inequalities? So we know that the solution set is where the two inequalities overlap, right? So what I would do is I would type this into Desmos. So I see it says y is greater than or equal to, and then 2/3. All right, so we type in the things in Desmos here, right? So I typed in the first one, and now I'm going to type in the second one. 5x plus 6y is less than or equal to -30. All right, so I see my graph here, and it looks just like this graph, right? And remember, the answers are where the two sections overlap, right? Sometimes it's easier if you don't do it and see, all right, ooh, there's the red. Ooh, there's the blue. Oh, here's where it overlaps. All right, so what section overlaps? Well, that would be 2. That's where our answers are, right? That needs to be shaded. That's our graph. All right, but you can type in equations, inequalities in Desmos, and remember, where the two sections overlap, that is where the solution is. All right, here's another one we can do in Desmos, right? It has an equation here, and it says the domain is all real numbers. What the range is all real numbers greater than or equal to blank. All right, so we could type in this equation into Desmos. Look, I typed it in right here. I typed it in just like how it looks, right? And now it says the range, and now I know the range is my y values, right? So my y values, this line goes down, and it hits here, and it goes back up, right? So the smallest my y value can be is right here, and that's at 3. That's my y value of 3. And then the lines, both of these lines go up from 3, right? So it has to be bigger than 3. So it would be all real numbers greater than or equal to 3. That would be our answer. So whenever you have something like this, domain and range question with an equation, you can always type it in the Desmos and see it, and then sometimes it's easier to see it than trying to figure out the range on your own. Okay, this question here, it says identify each function that has exactly 1, 0. So 1, 0, remember that means that 0 means x-intercepts. So if you type in like 9x squared minus 4, I see this one has got 2 x-intercepts. So that one has 2 zeros, right? So that would not work. We're looking for ones that have exactly 1, 0. So whenever you have one of these, you just type these equations into Desmos and then just see which ones only cross the x at one time. And whenever you have something like this, it's usually multiple select, so make sure you go through all of them and make sure that you check it. All right, here's something else we can do. This one says, using the line of best fit for this data, which value is the best prediction of the distance driven in miles by a bus that has been used for 40 months? All right, so remember, to do this, we gotta make a table, and we type in our data, right? So like this would be like 6 and 10,100. And this one is 10, and it's got 17,000. This one says 12 and 23,900. This one says 15, and then it says 31,500. And this one says 20 and 43,200 and 27 and 59,900. All right, so then what we can do is we can find our line of best fit, right? So our line of best fit, the equation you have to type in is y1, and then you type in this little squiggly line, and then we're going to do slope-intercept form, mx1 plus b, right? Y equals mx plus b, right? The y1, why we have to type y1 and x1 is because it matches up with this table. So here's y1, so we're using this data, and x1, we're using this data here. Right? So that's why we have to type those. And if you type those in, it's going to give you your formula, your slope-intercept form. So told us our m is 2419.72, and our b is negative 15362.44, right? So I'm going to type in my m, 2419.72 x plus negative 5362.44. All right, I don't need a plus negative, I can just write minus. All right, but then there's my equation, right? So now it says they want to know how many miles it would be if you used for 40 months. Well, months was our x column here, right? So I can take out my x from my equation and I can plug in 40, and it says 91,426. So which one of these is closest to it? it'll be 91,400. Right, so that is how we do line of best fit. You gotta use your table, and then you use y1, and then the squiggly line mx1 plus b, and then we scroll down, you see the m and the b, and that gives us our equation, and then we can plug in what we know to figure out what we don't know. All right, one other thing Desmos can be used for and be useful for is when you're simplifying cube roots or simplifying square roots, either way. All right, so this one says cube root. So remember, we get functions, miscellaneous, gonna go to cube root, and then I type in my number there, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I get this decimal here, 15.119059. So the way we do this, remember we did factor tree, and then we pull out our groups of 3, and whatever's left over stays inside, right? So we have to see, we can do that. Then after we do that, we get an answer. Then we can check our answer using Desmos. And we can check it just by typing in our questions here, right? So like that one says 2 cube root of 12. And see how like this decimal does not match this decimal, right? So I know it can't be that one. So I can use my answer eliminator, cross that off, right? All right, so the next one says 6 cube root 16. 6 cube root 16. Okay, so now this one matches. So this is one you have to be careful of because this one matches, right? But 16, I know I can break down more. Because 16 would be 16, what goes into 16 would be 2 and 8, and then 8 would be 2 and 4, and then 4 would be 2 and 2. So there's definitely 3 groups of 2 there, a group of 3 there that I could pull out, right? So this isn't simplified. So I know that's not simplified, so that can't be my answer either, right? So let's try the next one, 12 cube root 2. So 12, I hit this, functions, miscellaneous, cube root 2. Oh, this one has a match. This is probably it, right? This is probably it. Both of these are the same, right? I can't simplify 2 anymore, so I bet you that's it. But let's try the next one. 6, 24. Yeah, that doesn't match. So the best answer is definitely C, right? So it matches. And we know that we can't break this down, that 2 down anymore, right? So we know that that's our simplified answer. All right, those are some quick tips and tricks that you can use on Desmos. I hope you found this video useful. Study for the SOL, use your study sheets, use your notebooks, use the video notes that we make. Right? Everything that you watch will help you out. If you ever have questions, please ask teacher, and I'll see you next time. Bye.